Let's get started on this shit.
Let's go.
In the words of the great prophet of our times, Thomas Waits, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. That sentiment has become the core concept behind March's premier holiday, St. Patrick's Day. A day where anyone can be Irish. A day where it's socially acceptable to be blackout drunk at 2 in the afternoon. And a day where if you find a 4-leaf clover, beautiful people of the gender of your choosing will thoroughly bathe you with their tongues. But even on a day devoted to the inebriated celebration of a pirate slave turned patron saint, there's time for horror. That being said, St. Patrick's Day is probably one of the least utilized holidays in the horror spectrum. We've got tons of horror movies based around Halloween, about as many devoted to Christmas, even a handful devoted to Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day. But St. Patrick's Day? None really shoot to mind. But Irish-themed horror? That we do have. And we're going to roll out 4 slices of it tonight and set them against each other to see which one is the superior Irish horror tale. From 1988, we have the William Lustig-directed, Larry Cohen written and produced Maniac Cop, about a particularly wicked boy in blue who's found a means of cheating death to get some revenge in the most convoluted way possible. From 1996, we have Leprechaun 4 in Space, the tale of a magical demon just looking for a little respect in a big galaxy, and the ragtag band of space marines who won't let something as small as premature leprechaun ejaculation stop them from vanquishing some ancient evil, no matter how many articles of clothing the women have to sacrifice to random man-spider limbs. From 2012, we have Grabbers, the tender story of a burnout alcoholic falling for a teetotaling deputy, and the multi-appendaged alien sea monsters who will rip apart a small Irish town and everyone in it to make sure they hook up. And from 2015, we have The Hallow, a tale as old as time. A young couple with a newborn child go into the Irish wilderness to spray paint X's on the trees, but wind up ruffling the feathers of the indigenous life lurking there, who are really aggressively into adoption. So get to polishing your Blarney Stones and pour some more whiskey in the jarro, because we got some Luck of the Irish flicks to discuss.
When you said it,
and we're in.
Time, I was half expecting you to break out into Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, you surprise me sometimes.
Question.
Yes.
Do you want to be on that screen?
Oh no, now I don't. I was just keeping it there.
I wasn't
for
sure.
the. Thank you for reminding me though, because I did forget by the time I reached the end of that.
That is awesome, Nefe.
I love it. See the little tentacles?
Yeah.
Oh, I do see them now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bitches love cannon.
Never. Thank you for the 20-month resub. Drinking the Sport of Kings. Hell yeah.
I redrew that leprechaun's entire face.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
To make him more evil looking?
Yeah.
It
Oh,
works.
those are body parts. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Mm-hmm. And the green
Oh,
hair
in the
and
sack too, yeah.
Yeah. It's not a sack, it is a gold pot. I tried to keep everything cartoony.
It is a gold pot. My mistake.
Yes. But, because they had realistic looking ones, but yeah.
So tackle it in chronological order as usual. So Maniac Cop. And I guess we can go Fish, Kettle, then Neffy. And then me.
That's fun.
Okay.
I like not being first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, going first is actually the best because then you get it out of the way and you don't have to worry about it anymore. You get to listen to everyone else be dumb.
No, see, in our case, I think second is perfect.
Well, I mean, it works out well for you.
me. For me.
Yeah. It works out well for you then.
There we go. There are my notes.
So yeah, I mean, like, I appreciated it. It was a lot of fun, actually. And originally, when I first started watching it, I was like, "Oh my god, it's like a true crime series, only a movie.
Mhm.
That's awesome." But it was a little wooden. a lot of the way through, and I liked it, but I couldn't tell you any of the characters' names. I can't even remember the killer's name.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
The killer's name was Maniac Cop.
It
to
began
be-
with a C or something like that.
Cop.
No.
First name Maniac.
Comma Maniac.
But it was good. I thought the exaggerated movements of like him in general as he's like marching up toward one of his
Oh
victims
yeah.
and marching him out of the car. I thought it felt very 80s action and reminiscent of an old cowboy sheriff showdown.
Mm.
One of them must have been Bruce. Oh, it was Bruce Campbell. Okay, because
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce. I think he was fighting with his girlfriend, and then shoot him in the knees, please. She kept the cop that was undercover as a prostitute.
Yeah.
She kept shooting at his chest, and I'm like, all right, obviously you're trying to take him down. Shoot him in his leg. Shoot
Right.
him in the head. Let's kill him because I want to end the movie.
Right.
But yeah,
It
that
was a
my
short.
take.
It felt like kind of a short, long movie.
Yeah, like the
Mhm.
story was long, and the tone every now and then would bounce around, and it didn't seem appropriate to the scene that it was.
The
at.
tone did shift. The further that movie gets along, the campier it gets.
Yeah.
Like it's
I felt
very.
like it was very tropey of just like it's the guy. It's like, wow, we're totally pointing at this guy. Hey, it's this guy. Hey, it's this. Everybody and their mother knows it's not that guy. Like,
Right.
Yeah, Bruce
you
Campbell
know,
can't be a serial killer. Are you crazy?
no.
So
So
this-
and I did enjoy his kind of like the kind of robot-y moves, just very like
Yeah.
very brutal with the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or like when he pulled over that or like knocked on the window of that one couple. If an officer comes up to you and there's the window and he just does without saying a word, don't follow him.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's
don't do that.
yeah. Be like, can I see your identification, officer? Because
Well,
I'm pretty
he
sure you're gonna
wasn't-
carjack me.
Was he a prisoner that killed an officer and took his clothes? Okay, or
No,
did he get
no,
killed in
he
prison
was.
and come back as a zombie?
So it's a little the movie is like great at being like a detective noir type mystery up until the moment that it's not, and it just stops explaining things. So he was a decorated police officer known for like basically he was Dirty Harry.
Mm-hmm.
So you would, shoot first, ask questions later, that type of cop. And the politicians like ramrodded him to get him sent to prison, and then he got shanked in prison, presumably to death. But then they find out from the morgue attendant at the prison that he wasn't actually dead, and he released the body to the one lady, and then question marks. Because, like, okay, sure, he didn't die from that, but then how does that explain when we see him?
Yeah.
He's basically a super zombie.
Right.
Yeah,
that cannot be
weird
stopped.
at that point.
Yeah, they don't even bother trying to explain that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neff, what did you think?
So I mean, it was I didn't.
Yeah.
I
It
didn't
was fine.
particularly enjoy it. I didn't hate it though. Like I was like, okay. It was definitely one that was the least memorable for me
Mm-hmm.
because honestly, I can remember baby Bruce Campbell face.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about it.
And
So
he's
it's-
such
that was
a
nice to
handsome
see.
young man.
This is
Handsome
early
man.
Bruce Campbell. This is like
He is
just
babby.
after Evil Dead.
He's babby.
I agree. He's completely handsome now, but as a young man,
Oh man,
if he were Ted
he's-
Bundy, I would have gotten him.
Mhm. But like, his wife was cray cray. For one,
His
Like,
wife or his
Bruce,
girlfriend?
his wife, the one that got slaughtered in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His fucking wife was insane. Like, if he had like slid it, I wouldn't have blamed him.
Oh no.
She was one of kind. But like, it was basically a Frankenstein movie.
A little it would have been more
Yeah.
Frankenstein if they had like gone into how the fuck he was what he was, but clearly some kind of Frankenstein shit is
Yeah.
involved, or some Gollum
And
shit.
even if he wasn't like, okay, so say he did die, he got the doctor mentioned he had a lot of like brain trauma.
Yeah.
So fish will know this, like, when you already have you already have harmful characteristics to society or to yourself, mental trauma, like if you have a concussion or something like that, it can cause, it can actually, there's a higher statistic for you to be involved in criminal activity. So if he was already a shoot first, ask questions later type of person, it's reasonable to say that if he incurred enough mental damage that it could have just completely shut down that part of his brain that said, okay, we're not going to hurt innocent people.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
it could have
basically
completely
screws
shut
with the
that down.
hypothalamus.
Yeah. So like, it was like, that part was interesting because like I was like, all right, that actually has some basis in it, like as to how I understand why he's just a killing machine now.
Right.
But like, otherwise, I don't remember most of the movie other than the part where she's screaming on top of the building and they still are arresting Bruce Campbell.
There he is, get him.
How do they not hear that lady scream? Like, and then of course he's alive at the end. Of course.
Yeah, there's two more Maniac
Creepy
Cop
bullshit,
movies.
yeah.
Yeah, there are two more Maniac Cop movies. I've never
There didn't
seen
need
them.
to be.
No.
You never know. It could be like Children of the Corn, where Children of the Corn 1 was kind of just a snooze fest and sucked. Children of the Corn 2 is amazing because they just give no fucks. Like,
I kind of enjoyed the first one, but
the level of batshit insanity the second one gets up to, though, it is just a treasure. But yeah, Maniac. I mean, I didn't. I think it wasn't at the bottom of my list, but like, it's not my go-to for like 80s horror. It's not even my go-to for like Larry Cohen horror. Like Larry Cohen did Q, the Winged Serpent, The Stuff, It's Alive, and being familiar with Larry Cohen's work, and I had forgotten that he wrote this movie and produced it as well. But being familiar with his work going into it, like, it feels a lot like a Larry Cohen movie. Just the way it looks, like kind of the visual style of it, even though he didn't direct it. The visual, like, kind of setting of it, the fact that New York City is about as much a character in this movie as any of the people. It's a very Larry Cohen thing. And the fact that you have arguably your main hero, well, both of your main heroes aren't really heroic, and kind of get lucky in some sense. Like, Tom Atkins was definitely the older detective, played by Tom Atkins. He was more of a traditional type hero character, but like, he's only there for like maybe 2/3 of the movie before he gets chucked out a window. Which I remember being surprising the first time I saw it, because I'm like, he's the lead. How the fuck can you do that? But Bruce Campbell is a hero in this. Like, he mostly just hides, sulks, and gets himself into trouble until like even up until the end, which is a very Larry Cohen type of hero. I did
say I'm a fan.
This is not the best Larry Cohen related movie at all. Q, the Winged Serpent is incredible.
Okay.
But yeah, as for, I mean, I thought the detective, like Tom Atkins piecing everything together, and then once he dies, Bruce Campbell and his Vice Squad girlfriend continuing the investigation, like, that part was interesting and cool, interspersed with Maniac Cop going on the killing spree. And then towards the end, it just, like, once it pops off and like really gets to the climax and crazy shit is just happening back to back, it really does get much campier and kind of just start to fall apart. Just because there's so
Yeah.
much that like the movie doesn't explain, like does not take time to explain at all, which is weird because they spend so much time explaining stuff and leading you through it up until that point. I'm probably the only person who noticed it, but there was a Sam Raimi cameo. He was the reporter at the parade. He was the guy reporting on the parade. That was Sam Raimi.
I always forget what Sam Raimi looks like, honestly.
He looks like that guy who was reporting on the parade in Maniac Cop.
Thank you.
So
kind.
I will say the slaughterhouse that was that Maniac Cop turned that police precinct into was fucking insane. There were dead bodies everywhere. This movie had the highest kill count out of all of them this month, with 18 I counted.
Mm-hmm.
Also had the highest sex count with 1, which tells you how few sex scenes happened in the movies this month. It was interesting seeing younger Bruce Campbell, like from the Evil Dead era, but like doing kind of a more serious performance. Like there's a little bit of that Bruce Campbell campy charm to it, but for the most part, he plays it straight and he does like a really good job.
He does.
I did love the gravelly voiced police captain. I thought he was a lot of fun. But yeah, there's a lot of just unanswered questions there at the end. Like, what the fuck was his motivation? Because, like, if it was revenge, like, he got the revenge, but he also just killed a bunch of random innocent people. So, like, that didn't seem to be his primary goal. Like, the brain damage thing makes a lot of sense, actually. If the movie had intimated in any way that was a cause, that would have been really cool. But they didn't. They were just like, I don't know why he's killing. Like, even the lady who's his girlfriend is like, why are you killing innocent people, you fucking weirdo? And he's just like, why was he so infatuated with Bruce Campbell? Like, to the point of, like, he doesn't just try and kill Bruce Campbell. He tries to kidnap him for some reason, which in my head, like, went to, like, maybe he's trying to do some Child's Play soul transference shit to, like, transfer his evil spirit into Bruce Campbell's body, but, like, we never even saw anything go on with that. So that's just my own personal hypothesis. And then, yeah, they never explained, like, how the fuck he became a zombie. They established that, okay, he didn't die in prison due to the shanking, but how the hell did he become an unstoppable super zombie? Like, so...
I hate to be the odd man, but Simon is crying at me to go to the bathroom.
That's fine.
I'll be right back.
But like all that, I thought it was fast paced. You know, it didn't really outstay its welcome too much to me. It had some 80s action. It was cool seeing Tom Atkins, Bruce Campbell, and Richard Roundtree. And honestly, like the core concept of this movie, like it's probably the saddest thing that the rest of the movie doesn't hold up to it, because I find the core concept in this movie like really disturbing. Like the everything that they set up in that opening scene with the waitress running away from the muggers and then getting to a cop where she thinks she's safe only to immediately be killed by what should be safety, like that is terrifying. But the movie quickly moved away from that. There was a little bit of time spent on that, but then the movie super quickly went away from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's more or less my thoughts on Maniac Cop.
Maniac
Cop. Or as Nevers labeled him, Maniaca M. Copperton?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Guess we can wait for Fish to get back with that dog, since she's the one leading us in.
Leading us in.
Oh no.
And no. Here she comes.
Well.
Whoa.
Oh, she's back.
Here
Okay.
she comes.
Well.
I was gonna say in the mean, if it was gonna be a little bit, I was gonna redeem a rage card, but
oh shit.
I mean, I guess I can still do that.
You could. Let's see. She ran off somewhere,
Yeah,
probably
why
to wash
not?
her hands.
Well, there we go. We got something to do in the
Got
meantime.
something to do.
Mm-hmm. And apparently my tum-tum's being a little bit of a butt again. So
Oh,
I'll leave
no.
that waste card. I'm so sorry.
It's all
I'm so
good. I
sorry.
totally understand.
Yeah.
It should be fairly quick.
All right.
Sorry about that.
That's
He's
all
had
right.
a lot of Pedialyte.
Mm-hmm. See, let's draw a Kettle's card. You got Faint,
Shit.
which is a combat action. Raise your forward damage 0. You can immediately play any combat card in response to your opponent's card. If your Faint is a bluff and your opponent's card is not, you may not play another card. What the card tells me about you is that people aren't always sure what you're doing. You're in there, you're a little mysterious, you know, like you might be going one way, but no, you jump over the other way and then you surprise them. You never know. You never know when you're gonna look at your phone because it's blinking and it's like Kettle on the Coil has started streaming. You never know.
Oh shit.
That's a good point. Yeah, that is a thing that happens on occasion.
We all
He
have
does.
faces for all.
Yeah, I do have a face.
Holy shit, I never noticed. It's a nice face, Cattle.
Oh, thank you.
Never seen his. Now you have. Oh shit. Well, I guess we can start getting into Leprechaun 4 in space.
Yeah.
Since Fish is here and she can start us off.
First of all, the music was spot on in this movie. Like, I love the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
When the sergeant showed up, I was like, Gary Oldman in The Fifth Element, LMAO.
I didn't make that connection, but yep. Although I think this was like a year before Fifth Element came out. I think Fifth Element was a 97 banger.
Listen.
So, who
Fifth
knows?
Element was always out.
Yeah, but like the production or costume designer on Fifth
That's
Element might have
true.
been like, oh, Leprechaun 4 in space. What's this all about?
That's true. He won me over with, I'm busy. What the fuck do you want? Yeah, Sergeant Hooker was his name. All
Yeah,
the names
yeah.
in this was absolutely perfect. Who's
Oh,
driving this? Did you guys hear him when, like, all that chaos is going on and he's talking about the ship like rocking back and forth and he's like, who's driving this? Ray Charles?
I think I did hear that, yeah.
I lost my shit. And then girlfriend shows up. Cersei is all I could think of.
Oh,
Gold is power,
the
power is power. I am
the
the
princess?
agent. Yeah, the princess.
Mm-hmm.
When he's explaining gold is power and power is power, I started singing, I am the Eggman. I am the walrus. And then he's got a fucking lightsaber. The lightsaber, when he pulls the lightsaber out, I was done. I was like, this is Spaceballs. This is actually Spaceballs. I just love this movie so much. It was so much fun. And it was just it was on so many drunken drugs.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was all over the place, but it still had a consistent story.
Mm-hmm.
And the story that it told was absolutely, like, their whole connection between the leprechaun and the princess and them fighting as a married couple. And every time he called her a bitch underneath his breath, oh, what? You rich? You'll be rich. I love them so much. And then when he got giant was my favorite part. I can't say enough about this movie. It wasn't on their favorite, or at least I didn't rank it to the top. Did I do this wrong? No, I did link it at the top. I did say it was my favorite movie. That solves that. Out of everything we watched, I loved it.
Oh yeah, you did. I just wanted to make sure I had it down right too.
Wed her, bed her, bury her in the same day.
A great line. It would have been better if he said wed her, better, and dead her. Because then it would have had the rhyming thing.
When the assistant got his face flattened, didn't it remind you of Dead Fred?
A little bit. It also reminded me of like a death you would see in like one of the later Freddy Krueger movies.
Okay. I mean, I like the way, like, they had, I guess it was claymation or some prosthetic on
Prosthetic
his
for
face.
sure,
It
yeah.
it reminded me of that. And Drop Dead Fred was always like one of my favorite movies as a kid. I would drive my dad nuts and make him watch it like 20 times over the
Mm.
weekends. But it was pretty good. It reminded me a lot of that. Like, it was very nostalgic. Um I I just can't say enough good shit about it. I loved it. Bullshit, blow him to pieces.
Bullshit!
Uh,
Blow his fucking head off! I
I
love
said
that line.
I said at one point these two deserve each other. He took offense to ugly. There was another
You
L
cut
in
out. You
there.
cut out. He took
Oh,
offense at ugly and
when she called him an ugly little fool, he took
yeah.
ugly, not fool.
Oh yeah.
And I also said this movie finds the best ways to get a lady down to her skivvies.
Yes. uh,
I was just laughing the whole movie. I probably missed stuff because I was laughing so hard.
yeah. Cattle.
Yeah, well, add on to that, yeah, holy shit, really quite funny. I really like it does the thing where it's like, oh wow, they killed him in the very beginning. It's like, okay, how's he gonna like, come fuck with him? Well, one guy's like, well, I gotta piss on the victim of my or the corpse of my victim here, so I'm just gonna do that. And then you just see the little green trickle up, and it's like, oh no, what's going on there?
That's not gonna end well.
And then
And
later
then it
on,
doesn't.
he just goes and crawls on through a dude's pee-pee hole.
Yeah.
And man, I know some people like to put stuff in there, but I think a tiny leprechaun man is a little bit too big.
Yeah, Warwick Davis is not a big man, but he's still too big to be doing that shit.
Right. And I absolutely love the like shitty 90s graphics of like the spaceship.
Oh yeah, dude, this was so early 90s, or well, actually, I guess it was mid 90s CGI, but it was like such early in the days of CGI that they still hadn't figured out how to make spaceships look good.
Right.
Because CGI,
it looks like Nintendo 64. Like,
yeah, CGI usually, even if it's bad creature CGI, they can do technology really good and make it look really nice. Not in this fucking movie.
No. And I love the Doctor.
Mitten hand.
Yeah. Or Mitten Spider.
Mitten Spider! Even though he was part scorpion too, technically.
Yeah, oh man, that was wild. Especially when you see you only see him on the TV for so long, and then eventually he comes out and he's just like part of a body on the thing.
Yeah.
And then the sergeant's all yelling, he's like, "Kick your ass," or "Do you have an ass?" Or
if you even have an ass.
So yeah, it was just all full of fun stuff. I also did love when he got gigantic and the whole thing, and then after they defeat him, there's just the giant, like the middle finger
floating by. Yeah, it's perfect.
So yeah, like it's one of those. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the Leprechaun lore,
right?
But
so
it's kind of out there, but it's one of those you can jump in and it doesn't matter.
Yes, absolutely. Because I think I've seen up to 4. I haven't seen past 4, but I've seen the first 3.
First one a long time ago, and then this one.
I've seen the first 3, and yeah, this one, aside from the fact that it still has the Leprechaun character in it, has no connection to any of the previous ones, obviously.
Right.
And yeah, you don't really need to have seen any of the previous ones to get a bearing on what the hell this is. Its own fucking movie.
As
it's
long
its
as you
own
have the
story.
general idea of like, yeah,
it's an evil leprechaun.
Yeah,
it's an evil leprechaun. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, overall, yeah, really, really fun. I don't really. It's horror in that people got killed, but nothing was scary about it. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, overall, fun and enjoyable, I'd say.
Neff? You're muted. It's convenient. It's convenient because I can hear her talking in the other room, so I'm just like, there you go.
I pulled a fish.
There you go.
So needless to say, let's just start off by, I'm sorry I did not go ahead with the originally proposed all 4 Leprechaun movies for the month of March.
Honestly,
my life choices.
Honestly, it's fine. It made me dilute the Leprechaun stuff down to honestly the one that I actually wanted to show you guys. So it helped. Granted, the third one is also a lot of fun. So maybe next year.
What are you talking about? I think I'm gonna end up watching all 3 of them before then.
That's also fair. Yeah.
But like, just like when the Leprechaun first was having dinner with the kidnapped princess and she was starting to get on board, I was like, this movie is interesting. All right. and then they blew up the Leprechaun, and I was like, oh, it's very interesting. What's going to happen for the rest of this movie? Because I know nothing about the franchise.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then the baby leprechaun burst forth from the man's member. And I was like, I fucking love this movie. and then fucking Chrome Dome dresses in drag and serenades his
yeah, that was just like, completely out of left field. Like, what the hell?
I was like, that's it. Get me a priest.
You want to marry the movie?
I loved this movie, even though it was not. I don't think it was my top pick.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this movie. This movie was so flippin' good. It was the 90s cheese and perversity, and where, you know, it really kind of showed through that, you know, it was that time of movies where people were not offended at every little itty bitty thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also like the movie was ahead of its time, which amazed me, because the quirky little lab assistant, the one that was like, oh, praise weird robot man, he was not only did he hit on Tina, which was the main chick,
right? Yeah.
He also hit on the Marine.
Oh, that's right.
And
yeah.
I was just like, I was like, clearly this man has no gender
clearly bisexual,
specifications in regards to his perversity, and I appreciate that. He's an all around open, inclusive person. So it was really cool to see that, and Guy Steiner, who's the guy who played the doctor.
Mittenhand.
Yeah, Mittenhand. He did a great job, and for something that I thought was a trash movie franchise, I was really pleasantly surprised. The makeup was great. The CGI was the CGI. I mean, it was the early 2000s. What do we want? Or 90s?
96.
96. So
96. I guarantee you this movie did not have a big budget.
Yeah. So
I don't know what it was, but it wasn't high.
Right, but I mean, considering they seem to have used because the acting wasn't horrible. It was about what I expected for a movie of its caliber. Cheesy, over-the-top acting with one-line jokes and, you know, take no prisoners punches. And it was really fantastic to see. Like, not only was his body morph, I was just like, that's actually really good. To the fucking spider scorpion.
Yeah.
At the end, like, I just sat there and I actually had to pause it because I was just looking at his spider morph, like when they fully revealed him. I'm like, that is for a fucking what I thought was a trash movie franchise. There's a lot of love in this.
Oh yeah.
I fucking enjoyed it. And I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to the characters. They were as you would refer to as death fodder.
Yeah, they definitely they fit
the death cows.
Somebody watched Aliens and they're like, those people, but more one dimensional.
Also, yeah. I looked it up talking about that thing that Harold says, like, you heard the lady, Harold, move your ass, and Harold, hey, don't touch me unless you mean it, cowboy.
Right.
Like, I really enjoyed that movie. Like, I fully intend on giving the entire franchise a watch, and it may actually have to become, like, at least in space, may need to become a St. Patty's Day normal for me, because
I'm okay with that.
It was hard to pick for my comfiest movie between this and Grabbers. Like, it really was, because I had a good time. Also, might I add, the key to defeating the Leprechaun is to just make him large. It's his tiny stature that gives him an advantage, as we see at the end, where he just kind of loses once he gets big sized.
True for all short people.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to do with all that size.
No, he doesn't.
He kept trying to grab.
Yeah.
On to you, Boom.
But yeah, it struck me as I started it up that I had a revelation that I may, up until watching it for this month, I may never have actually seen this movie from beginning to end. I may have only ever seen like the last like 20 minutes. Because I couldn't remember what the fuck happened I remember the last 20 minutes vividly. But everything before that was a mystery to me. So I was like, maybe this is the first time I've actually seen this movie completely. But no, I absolutely fucking loved this movie. It's my type of movie. The campiness, the cheesiness, all of it. The kind of out there ideas, all that shit is just right up my alley. Yeah, Sergeant Hooker, amazing. I loved every single moment that he was in the movie. Let's see, what else? Remember, boys, if the blue balls get too bad, a little leprechaun might come crawling out of your dick. Like, the fact that he is resurrected via premature leprechaun ejaculation is hilarious and horrifying. It's the reason why this movie I put the movie sex count at 0.5. Because there was almost a sex scene, and then the leprechaun came.
Double entendre.
Hey, at least somebody did.
Yeah, you know what? There you go. Rumor has it the reason why this Leprechaun movie takes place in space is because they needed to leave the franchise open to the long-suspected crossover film Leprechaun versus Chucky, but it was in development hell at the time, so they had to get creative. That's a joke, but that is legitimate.
Plausible.
No, it is. It's just the wrong franchises. That is why we have Jason X. The Jason in Space movie. The reason why we have a Jason in Space movie is because they were in development hell on Freddy vs. Jason. They're like, we want to do another Jason movie, but it cannot interfere at all with anything that might happen in Freddy vs. Jason. So figure it out. And they're like, let's send him to space. But hilariously, Jason X came out, I think, a few years after this movie. But if you watch Jason X, it's basically Leprechaun 4.
I remember watching Jason X way back in the day. I don't remember anything specific about it.
Like in the opening scene, Jason is defeated, and then many years go by, and then he's found, thawed out, and then he gets super upgrades and shit like that. But your titular villain defeated at the very beginning of the movie, only to come back and start killing a ship full of random victims, some of which were Marines in Jason X as well. Like, it's basically the same damn movie. And I like Jason X too. Jason X, I think, is a lot of fun. This movie's more fun. And also, this movie has Mitten Spider. Jason X didn't have Mitten Spider. I thought the lead Marine and the doctor lady, I don't remember her name, they flirted like an old married couple where the love has been dead for decades, but they're just sticking it out for the kids. I thought Dr. Minhan was like half Hitler, half Dalek, half mad scientist. The movie hands down. What's that?
I very much thought Dalek the first time I saw
right,
him
like
too.
it's got like his design had to have been based
shaped
on
like a
the Dalek.
Yeah,
The little thing he's rolling around in like looks so much like a Dalek. I would be very surprised if that wasn't an intentional design choice. The movie absolutely gives the best, most absurd reason for a woman to flash her tits. Like, the whole, like, oh, from her culture, if she shows you her breasts, it means you're going to die. Or you're cursed to die or something like that.
Oh yeah.
That whole like it's like
Yeah, she's doing all sinister. It's like, yeah, I've got you now.
Look at him. Yeah, it's like what the fuck is this explicit gratuitous nudity out of nowhere? And then they take the time to explain why that happened and why it was a bad thing. Made it so much better. Dr. Mittenhand being transformed and his first words being, I can fuck!
He was so perfect.
But yeah, the creature he turned into looked very cool. And then also, yeah, the strategic stripping of Dr. Lady as she's climbing through the vents.
Yeah.
Like, of course that happened. I did make a note, not only did the black man in this not die first, he didn't die at all. He survived.
No,
Yeah.
he did. There was a close
The
call.
black man lived in this horror movie.
Yay.
But yeah, it's mid-90s ridiculousness, but I think that gave it the freedom to do all the insane shit that they did and get away with it. And the fact that they did all the insane shit and then they also like constructed a coherent story. Like, unlike Maniac Cop, like, where shit kind of goes off the rails and there's a lot of shit left up in the air and not explained, like, Leprechaun 4 is a wacky fucking story, but it's a story. It's a complete story. Like, I didn't have any questions at the end of it. Yeah. Other than, why is this movie not 2 hours longer? Because I would love that.
Show me what the Marines do next.
Yeah. Send them off to fight some other space threat. I don't care. But yeah, no, I absolutely fucking adored this movie. So much fun.
It really was. Oh, I'm gonna watch the rest of it.
Hey, speaking of fun, Grabbers.
Yeah, that was a fun movie. I definitely, after watching this and the Hallow, like and I've always wanted, but I want to go to Ireland so bad. I just want to get lost in the grass. It's so green.
Yeah, I had that note for both this and the Hallow. Is just like, this movie makes it abundantly clear that Ireland is fucking beautiful.
It's pretty nice, yeah.
And I had seen this movie before, obviously, that's why I suggested it. But it was so, like, rewatching, I'm like, why haven't I watched this a million times already? Because I love this movie so much. Like, Richard Goyle, who plays main dude.
Yeah.
Kieran.
Maybe.
And I think it's Kieran. Something like that. But he is also what the hell's the show's name now?
Coupling. He's Jeff from Coupling, yeah.
Yes, but basically my Chandler, because Coupling was the British version of Friends. But
oh, absolutely.
I love the movie so much because, like, even when the monster comes up, I know it was 2012, but, like, CG has developed since then. Like, the SFX has developed since then, and stuff looks, like, sharper now. It looks more real, when it's well done. And the monster was so well done. Like, I felt like it held up.
The CG in this is amazing. Yeah, it's really good.
But this was definitely, like, it's that Irish kind. If Irish were to be defined in a movie, there you go. They had so much of it in there, obviously, because it was in Ireland. Like, the characters themselves were so deeply Irish and in their humor. And I watch a lot of stand-up comedy and a lot of Irish comics, and they had, like, stand-up comedy level of improvising and just the way the characters chirped back and forth between each other and lilted. I just love them so much. This is another favorite movie. I think some of my favorite parts is when they're trying to figure out how to get everybody together and safe.
Oh, yeah.
We just go to the bar.
Yeah, just lock them, do a lock.
And then everybody's kind of like, and then it's like free drinks. And everybody's like, all right, I'm in.
Hey!
piss drunk and it's perfect. Um, um, and the romance in it between Kieran and the cop girl. Um, it, it was so obvious and such a cliche story, but with
Yeah.
that little bit of the twist, it was like, I really love this, and I loved her absolutely when she was the drunkest.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of my thoughts on it was just like, man, it would be nice to have like a little Irish overachieving girlfriend. And then she
was
gets all
so
drunk and just like,
smart.
oh, all my things, and it's like, you're very capable, and I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is. You have achieved many things.
Right. She was just so like, you got her story and her background so succinctly and so simple and so, again, definably Irish. Like, I got drunk and I told you a story about my life, and it's like, oh, that all makes sense now. No wonder why you're trying to achieve everything so much.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like to even nail in and or hammer the nail in even further. There was somebody in here who throws out the quote, "You really are Irish," and I think it was Patty that said that, or
It was
somebody said it about
the
Patty.
scientist guy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. My little English scientist.
Like, you
guy.
really are Irish.
And him, I've seen him other places too, and
I believe he was in Doctor Who.
Nose. He was in Doctor Who. Thank you. His big nose and giant ears. I love him. But yeah, no, the BFFs at the end, Patty and Brian, they were great, and such an endearing atmosphere.
Mm.
Like, I loved it all together. This would have been my favorite movie had Leprechaun not existed. I really loved it.
Cattle?
Yeah, I also really enjoyed it. I had it as my comfiest because it was very like, it's like, it's serious but also like lighthearted. It's that kind of like that fine line of like the horror comedy, but that's not like super ridiculous like Leprechaun,
Right.
which I kind of enjoyed. It also featured one of my favorite lines, which I did write down when they're going over the weapons, and the one guy's like, "I've got a nail gun and a board with a nail in it." And that had me rolling. Like, that shit was hilarious. Yeah, it was very sweet. Like to Fitch's point, the romance angle was like very cliche, especially at the end. It's like, oh, he throws away the flask. It's like, okay, dude, like, press X to doubt. Like,
I like how he even doubts himself. He's like, I shouldn't have done that.
No, like, it was a nice sentiment, but that's a little too happily ever after for me. But it's still overall very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think had between that and the Hallow for like the effects that I like more, it's like it's close between the two. Like, I think they were both really well done, and it was also interesting, like looking at it, seeing the kind of like the actual Irish films, like kind of independent Irish films. It's like, this stuff I never would have watched had it not been suggested via our little thing here.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd never heard of them until this.
Yeah, Ireland's definitely picking up pace on like cranking out movies lately, especially like horror movie stuff, which is cool.
They're perfect for it. They're perfect for it because there's so much horror folklore in their background.
Yeah. Neff?
So Grabbers. Right?
So Grabbers, though.
It was Alcohol the movie for
Grabbers did the same thing Leprechaun 4 did for gratuitous nudity, only Grabbers did it for gratuitous drinking.
It was the most Irish of
Here's
Irish
a perfectly
movies.
plausible reason why we need to get absolutely wasted.
It was the most Irish of Irish movies ever made to be made on the Irish of the Irish of the Irish. Like, there was a lot of Irish in that. But like, it was such a cozy movie. It was so comfy. Like, I'm like, yeah, these aliens are fucking some tough shit, but like, at the end of the day, I'm having a pretty good time with this. Like, you know what? I think the saddest thing in the world was that the scientist boy, whatever his name was. He
Dr.
just
Big Ears.
yes, there we go. That's totally it.
I think his name was Smith.
I think
like
so.
Smith or something.
He just wanted a hug. That's all he wanted. He just wanted a hug.
He might still be alright. I half expected, like, at the very end to, like, see them wheel him up in, like, half a body cast and whatnot.
Right.
That would have been great.
Like, I'm actually amazed that they didn't do that.
Like, the ragdoll body in the is should be the iconic scene as E.T. is. Fucking, like, for Irish St. Patty's Day movies. Like,
yeah, there you go. Just a still shot of his body backlit by the moon.
Yeah.
See, he's just an animal.
Just an animal.
Oh, bloink.
And, like, the CGI was hit or miss, but, like, I didn't care. Like, it was just a fun ride. Honestly, the characters were really interestingly written. They had a lot of personality. I wouldn't say they were super, like, deep, but, like, they had a lot of fucking character.
Yeah.
And apparently, you know, when you got aliens that require, you know, blood alcohol levels to be a thing to die, you know, it cures up your alcoholism real quick. Just like that. Just like that. That has been the cure this entire dang time.
Yeah.
Entire time.
To be fair, there haven't been enough instances of attempting killer alien invaders as a cure for alcoholism. There hasn't been enough instances of that to, like, prove whether or not it actually does work.
What an unfortunate thing, though, what an unfortunate place for that alien to land.
Oh, man. It really was.
It kind of teased War of the Worlds too. I can't talk tonight. Too, with, like, killing the aliens based on something just naturally around the thing that it is. I loved it.
I like, honestly, I was really happy with picks this month. Just as a whole. I was very happy with it, just to say the least. So yeah, I give it a tentacle out of it.
Yeah, no, I this is the second time I've seen it, and yeah, it's so good. Like, I think, technically speaking, I think this was the one that I rated the highest, even though it wasn't at the top of my favorite list. But yeah, the fact that, especially, like, you know, I've loved Tremors for so long, and this movie is almost a spiritual successor to Tremors. Even the name Grabbers sounds like Tremors. Like, I love Jeff from Coupling. I've seen him in a few things that weren't Coupling, and I always really like that guy. Was I the only one that noticed at least at the opening of the movie, the theme music was essentially "I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus"? Was I the only one that picked up on that?
No, but now that you say it, I'm like, oh.
We have sights to show
Oh, Chupacabra, you got them emotes back. Thank you, Neffy.
Very sweet.
But yeah, it's totally, it's like a weird variation of "I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus," and as it was starting, I was like, does this movie take place around Christmas? I can't remember. Like, and it totally doesn't, or if it does, they never mention it.
Right.
But that theme music is totally "I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus." Let's see. It was also, like, again, comparisons to Tremors. And Tremors, it started out with a couple of people getting eaten, but also cattle mutilations. And this one we had whale mutilations because it's got the aquatic theme to it and everything like that. It also felt a bit like Jaws in certain elements.
Mm-hmm.
So already the movie is like cribbing from like two amazing monster movies. I will also say that even though Cute Cop Lady didn't get it, I absolutely got What's This? It's a dead one of those.
Best joke ever. And
I
she
got that
just
joke
didn't do
immediately
that.
and I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, the movie, it oozes character. Every single, again, much like Tremors and Jaws, like the movie like locks down its characters. Like none of them might be particularly deep, but like they're very vivid in whatever limited capacity they show them in. I did love that the grabbers used the dead guy as bait to lure out more food. Kind of a twist on going fishing. They went fishing with a dead guy.
Yeah.
I made the point that the two main characters, Jeff from Coupling and Lady Cop, reminded me a lot of Val and Earl from Tremors, but if they hate flirted with each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rethought that point and realized no, they're actually just like Val and Earl because they also hate flirted. They just didn't hook up at the end. I also made a note of the line "You really are Irish." I think that was right after they come in and set fire to the specimen in the lab, right? He's like, "Don't do that! Don't do that! You're gonna get it wet." My God, you really are Irish. I thought the CGI was really good, actually. Like I've seen a lot of dodgy CGI, especially in horror movies and sci-fi movies. I thought the CGI in this held up really well. Like it always felt like it was a real like creature sitting. Like you could tell it was CG, but that's just the brain recognizing CG. I don't know if there's really a solution to that, but it always felt to me that the creatures, they had weight, they had presence, they felt like they were really in the scene.
Yeah, and it was more of like I guess when I think of good CG, I guess I think of Jurassic Park, like I usually do.
Yeah.
Where it's
Jurassic
combo
Park
of realism and CG, like it was a combo work, and it sometimes it's hard for me to remember that. I mean, like okay.
Yeah, well, that and Jurassic Park, like there honestly wasn't a huge amount of CGI in that. That was mostly practical. Only when like the dinosaurs like moved very quickly. Like I think a few of the raptor shots were CG, and like maybe one or two of the T-Rex shots when you see the full body moving were CG. But they had they had a huge T-Rex for a lot of those shots.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it was mixed with realism because
and with I think there was like the specimen might have been practical, like the one when it was lying there dead. I think that was practical. But for the most, with its moving around with all the tendrils and everything like that, like it's hard to do that practical and make it move with any degree of speed. That's not just like jerky movement,
right?
And make it look smooth, like an actual tentacle would move. Because it was seriously like using the wall. Like that's what I pictured or picture most about it when I think about those monsters. It was using the water because part of the plot was that it was raining, so that's how it could get out of the water.
Right.
And it was using it and looking like it was actually moving in the water too. So that was pretty cool. And a note on the animatronics in Jurassic Park: the Triceratops was in the Museum of Natural History for a while, and you can lean on her while she breathes.
Nice. You know how they got her to breathe, right? In that scene.
I don't know that. No.
There was like 2 or 3 people like crammed inside of her with handles,
so cool.
making the breathing movement.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm. Chupacabras actually brings up the owner of the store in Tremors, Miyagi, and that reminds me of another connection between Grabbers and Tremors. In Tremors, the shop owner, no, it wasn't Miyagi. It was Wong. It was the guy who played Miyagi. I gotcha. It was Wong. Wants to name the Tremors. He names the Tremors Graboids. And in this, we had the guy who found the thing. He's like, I found it. I get to name it. They're Grabbers.
Patty.
That was another. I feel like that was another callback to Tremors.
Patty is the love of my life. I love him so much.
He's so good. But yeah, the fact that the movie comes up with a perfectly logical and reasonable reason to get absolutely wasted in order to survive a monster attack, I love that. And then I love the inevitable consequence of that, which is when shit starts popping off, everyone is wasted, so they start doing the dumbest shit ever. The guy with the pump action squirt gun flamethrower running out there and being like, "Oh fuck this!" The scientist guy going out to take pictures with the thing. Everybody just like running into everything.
Patty made every excuse he needed to not to go out there and to make Brian go do it.
Yeah. No, they had a great relationship too. Brian and Patty did.
Oh my god!
Like the way that they fucked with each other was great.
Beautiful. And it seemed like it was an old fight too. And the their wife, or Brian's
their wife. Might as well be
they
their
both
wife.
matter. Yeah,
She was great too. Like all of the characters from like Maine down to like the old lady who's just like wasted. She's like, I can't leave. I'm pissed. Like and the preacher guy, like they were all great. I do love that the cute cop girl got to become the best drunken badass ever at the end with the flare gun. Like that was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Grabbers, like it definitely wears its inspirations on its sleeve. Tremors and Jaws being the big ones, and I think it's great because it holds up to them. Like I would put Grabbers on the same level as Tremors and Jaws as being like really entertaining, well-made monster movies that are just a whole lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. It was also a comfy ass movie. I can't remember which won out for me. I think it was Grabbers won out for comfiest, but yeah, no. Grabbers I could watch at any point in time and be okay.
Oh yeah. No, I'd always be down to put that movie on and chill out to it.
I'd put it up there with actually like because I recently watched Jack Frost. And
yeah.
And I kind of like I love Jack Frost. It was so campy and so cheesy, but it was so good. So good.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's better than it has any right to be, for sure.
Yeah, it really is. But like, I'd put it up there with like Jack Frost and like Tremors. Like, give me. Oh, next time I'm really sick, just put it on for me. Like as I'm dying on the couch.
Oh no!
Just put on Tremors, the Leprechaun series, and then so Tremors series, Leprechaun series, and then give me Grabbers. Like, and I'll be a happy girl. A happy sick girl. But yeah. There we go.
The eggs at the end.
Oh,
yeah.
I wanted so
the sequel bait.
I wanted so bad for a sequel, but isn't there a TV show? Does it have anything to do with this?
Is there a TV show?
I
have the wiki articles open. I didn't see anything about that.
No.
I was kind of browsing.
It could have. I don't know what TV show you're referring to. There was a Tremors TV show for like
a Grabbers TV
a 5-minute span. And there was almost a second Tremors TV show starring Kevin Bacon, but Sci-Fi Channel canceled it after not even airing it. Which sucks, because the trailer for it looked amazing.
Everybody doing their research.
Everybody trying to find if the like. Wait a minute.
Was this a comic book before?
I don't know.
Huh.
I'm not sure.
Most things either start out as a book or a comic, so it would make sense.
What are you seeing?
I'm trying to find out because it's just a picture.
Not Witcher? Witcher was a book series.
Yeah, Witcher was absolutely a book series first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the Grabbers. Oh,
It was
this
a
doesn't seem the same thing. Never mind.
oh, it is kind of a generic name, so it would not surprise me if there were other things called grabbers.
Yeah, no.
So anyway, The Hallow, final movie on the list.
Yeah.
I liked it. It
It's
was
good.
entertaining.
Good movie. 5 out of 6.
I wouldn't go that far.
Neither would
I
I.
3 out of 1.
Just because it was entertaining, like, I mean, I probably wouldn't watch it again. Maybe I would watch it again to see if I missed anything, because it confused the hell out of me. Like, and I was paying attention to it, and I was so confused. But I did learn something about myself, that if there's a pet in the movie, I'm always watching out for him. Because
You weren't aware of that already?
yeah, I mean, it just hit me as a trend that I'm like, oh no, leave the baby behind. Don't leave the dog behind. What the hell are you doing?
Chuck the baby at the
Right?
monsters, take the dog.
I couldn't find the thing that they were referencing to in the beginning, but it's the Book of Invasions, and it says C 1150. I was thinking, like, is that a Bible verse? And then I went to look, and apparently there's again Irish folklore that that has something in here about them invading, but I want to actually, like, read up on that. I have to find it. I couldn't find it before tonight. I think one of my first notes was, I swear fuck, if anything happens to Iggy, I'm gonna be really mad.
Whoops.
I thought the beginning had me a little bit, because I was like, this is an interesting. I like that they're not making the Fae look pretty, because
Yeah.
Fae are actually scary little monsters.
Mhm.
I thought Laura was very Fae in feature, because she had those sharp, angular sections to her face and her nose and her eyes. And then I started making fun of it because I couldn't do anything else, because I was so confused. I didn't like the guy at all. I made one connection. I said, well, one of the things that they could have been doing with him is, like, him and the family, like, maybe he was dying himself as a human, like, his humanity was dying once the grabbers, like, got him with the little eyeball pokey thing that they did.
Grabbers.
Grabbers, damn it. Whatever they were, the Fae. And
I mean, they were grabbers of a different sort. They were just
they
like
were
they were baby grabbers.
baby snatchers. That's
Yeah.
what they were. And like, they took him, they took the dog, they took the baby, and I'm like,
This isn't
"They're
an Irish
taking
horror
the
movie.
happy
This is a
little
country
family."
song.
Yeah.
And then his truck broke down.
That happens too.
Yeah. Except it's his eco-friendly. I think he's driving like a Subaru.
Something, some little shit car.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, so things just started to fall apart for me, because I was like, why would you do this? Why would you do that? Like, I couldn't grab onto a suspension of disbelief in the movie, like, because they kept pulling me one way and then dropping me into confusion. And I mean, like, it was entertaining, because yeah, it was kind of cool to see, like, the way the monsters poke things, and how they grabbed the dog, and how his eye was all red, and who knows if he's dead, because we didn't actually see him get ripped apart, but it sounded
You
like
see him
it.
later in the cave.
Yeah, that's right. But
Like,
they
partially
made a copy
transformed.
of the baby too, so
Yeah.
maybe they made a copy of the dog to be an ambassador of their little Pokemon family club. Everybody loves Iggy. He was a healer. He was wrangling people in. um, it picked me back up a little bit when she was starting to get tired of Adam's shit, and she's like, no, I'm gonna check on the baby. And then we should have checked on the baby, because the grabbers got him. And then
just
she went
grabbers now.
after him. She was like, fuck this, I'm going after my kid. And then it lost me again because I was like, Adam, just tie him down and burn the thing out of his eye. It's obviously photophobic, so burn it out of his eye and then maybe he'll live. But nobody did anything I wanted to them to do in this movie, and it really pissed me off. And then I said the monsters were pretty cool because they were just making a great environment for everybody. It was like the Earth's way, the Ireland's way of shaking people off its back when it's too overpopulated with idiots. And then it pissed me off again because I was like, this is like a watered down version of blackmail. So.
Yo, one of my first notes was, is this blackmail? Yo, if this is blackmail, you gotta tell me. Also, you should probably pay me at some point too.
And then when they started to burn everything, I was like, oh no, you're not gonna only piss off the Ents but the Fae, but the Ents as well. This is how we get the fall of Isengard.
Do you want Ents? Because this is how you get Ents.
But that was it. I mean, like, it was entertaining. I thought it was alright. It reminded attempt or a nod, I guess, to like the way the movies what did I say? Because I know I mentioned this to you. Insidious and that line of movies and the way they were made. But again, it didn't really reach it. I was like, okay, I can kind of see what you're doing there, but F. But I'm sorry, I just didn't. It was alright. Like, I liked it. I'm glad. I don't regret watching it because I was like, oh, cool, Pokemonsters. I like that.
Yeah, they're very popular in Japan.
No, the Grabbers are. That's a different story.
They're both popular in Japan, but for like different demographics.
I didn't know Pokemonsters were a thing that's popular in Japan.
Yeah, Pokemonsters.
They're pocket monsters.
Pokemon. Gotcha.
There it is.
There it was. I was in the gutter anyway. Never mind. Kettle, you go. Go.
All right. Yeah, I would say I enjoyed the movie. I agree it was a little bit confusing at points. I just kind of like turned my brain off with just like, well, they're there and those fellas don't want them there, and then that other fella warned them, but he's being a little bit weird too. Like, you know, and then there's some folklore that I don't quite understand. It's just more of a like, you see that all that weird shit in the trees, and first of all, bro, why does that make you horny and want to fuck your wife? That's weird. Because he's all just like studying it, and then you're like, "Oh, I learned some things." Hey, baby, it's like, can you just get the pasta? Like, I'm trying to make dinner here.
Yeah. Fucking timing, asshole.
But if you see that stuff, and then also have the creepy comb guy, just come around like, you shouldn't be in there. Like, yeah, I think I'd take him at his word, especially when weird shit starts happening, and then that cop comes over and is like, oh, it's probably just a drunk bird, you know? And it's like, really don't take anything all that seriously.
Come to Ireland. Even the birds are wasted.
Mm-hmm. I did like, some of the special effects and stuff. I have written down here, it was almost kind of like Alien meets E.T., because it's all like, oh, the finger, but then it's like, it had a little mouth that like opened up. Which also gave the Dead Space vibe of having like the little needle thing like real close to the eye, and it's just like, oh man, please get that generator going. That would be great.
Right?
And then,
oh man, I closed my eyes during that point.
Yeah, that stuff is always like, oh, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then the other thing,
how bad I didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, anything eye related is no, thank you. And then I also like when they're going around like using the flash of the camera to stun them or whatever. I was kind of like, I was thinking it's like an Irish Fatal Frame, except instead of ghosts, it's with those things.
I thought of Deception or whatever that game is that we play.
Deceit?
Oh, Deceit. That's right. Yeah, you can use the thing to flash. Yeah. Oh man, Deceit. I haven't played that in like 2 years.
Yeah, I
wonder if the Halloween event's still going on.
The kind of the end thing with the baby and the baby, and the whole like, oh shit, I really hope she picked the right one. Because that whole thing had me like stressed, and it's not even because it's not. I'm like, oh no, the baby, but just like, Man, if that's a monster, you're going to feel real stupid, and it's going to kill you. Like
She could have solved it so much easier just by taking the King Solomon approach. Cut both babies in half and take half of each. You're good. Either way, you've made the right choice.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, overall it was decent. But yeah, I agree, a little bit confusing. But I like the special effects and the gooey, drippy, and just is unsettling, especially when the wife had to go into that lake to get the baby. I'm just like, what is happening here? Like,
it definitely went down as most disturbing to me because of that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's more or less my thoughts on it.
Nif?
So this movie, I enjoyed it actually. It had a lot of good lore in it, in my opinion. You know, the iron on the walls and how the wife kind of fucked herself over with it, and not putting it back up. Like, I definitely feel that there were a lot of stupid mistakes made by them. But I enjoyed it. It definitely was different from the other 3 films that we watched. The characters were all right, I guess. The baby was spot on. Perfect.
Baby felt like a baby. It's true. Yeah.
Baby felt like a baby. But like, I don't, because I love it because of the lore. But then I also just like, I didn't like the dude. He was really weird. He didn't feel like, you know, somebody that, he didn't feel like a dad. I just, there was a lot of issues with them.
That's surprising me because you ranked it really highly.
I did, like, because out of them, it creeped me out a lot, and like, I didn't like the characters, but I enjoyed the story, if that makes any sense. Like, the story was really good to me. You know, what was going on? They pissed off the Fae. They weren't supposed to go in there. Like, just the lore around it. Like, I feel like they could have just omitted the family and done like this like just grand scope, like a mini like an episode just like of going around and seeing how these Fae are affecting all these different families. And I think that's what got me, like, I almost started creating like my own little story.
So you got pulled into the idea of the movie and what it could be more than the movie itself. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Like, and I think that's why I loved it so much. I was like, because like I can ignore the annoying bit, but like the part where, you know, where you've got the Fae coming out and they're fucking climbing all over the walls and they're trying to come through the doors and the windows, and I'm just like, that's so good. Like, that is a Fae. That is what they're supposed to be. Much like when they accurately depict fucking angels in movies, I'm just like, they're not pretty. You're right. They're fucking scary. And I'm glad that they actually held true to it. But I mean, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't good at the same time. Like, it's a mixed bag for me. It was my favorite simply because, like, of the lore, I think, at that point in time. Like, I really, Irish and UK lore is some of my favorites, just under Japanese lore. So, like, yeah. I don't have much else to say on it because, like, it's one of those movies that you kind of gotta watch. Just to see how pretty the Fae are. They're not pretty at all, but they're pretty. So, what did I put as my number 1?
Grabbers.
Okay, good. All right, that's what I thought. Yeah, no, that's accurate. Okay. Yeah, no, the Hallow was for a lot of places, but
I'm surprised because you were raving.
Yeah, I expected, based on what you were saying, like, I was like, she loved this movie.
I had more time to like sit on it and think about
All
it.
right.
Because, work is so fucking busy, and I still do love it, and I still do recommend watching it. I don't think it's something that people should avoid, and I would watch it again. I just like sitting on it a bit longer and like talking about it tonight and like talking about the
fault
others.
started to come through.
Like, yeah, and Manic Cop honestly still kind of gets like the bottom of the barrel for me. Or Maniac Cop, sorry.
Maniac
Cop. Listen.
It's a very different movie.
It's
but
a
like
Maniac Cop.
like I still feel that the Hallow was better than Maniac Cop, but yeah, like the Hallow and like just going through the Hallow and Leprechaun forum, like those were the stars of the show. Those were the booty movies. Those were the best movies.
So remember that time I said that I didn't write 3 pages of notes on any of the movies this month? I apparently lied. I got like 2.5 pages of notes on the Hallow. But here's the good thing about it. I can sum up like probably 80% of all of the notes that I took on this movie in a single sentence, which is Adam wins the award for dumb fuck of the year.
Oh.
So many of my notes were this man cannot be this stupid. Oh my god, this man is this fucking stupid. Starting from the very beginning, dude, maybe don't keep your baby around the rotting dead animals while you play science nerd, you weird freak. Like, from the moment the movie started, he's doing dumb shit. And it doesn't stop until the very end. Yeah, bring brain-controlling fungus around your baby. This guy is really looking to get some Parent of the Year awards. So yeah, I didn't know what to expect from this. For some reason, I thought this movie was gonna be more like I thought the creep factor, the horror element was gonna be like ghosts. For some reason, I don't know why. That was just a preconceived notion, like based on the title and nothing else. So there was a little bit there where I was just like, I don't know where this is going, which is fine. Like, the first time I saw The Descent, I watched it blind. I didn't know anything other than the title as well. And there was a period there too where I was like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. And the title's not giving me much. Is it a descent into madness? What is this? What is going on? And then slowly but surely stuff picks up and it's like, oh shit, that's what it is. So I had a period of that with this one where I was like, all right, we got potential evil fungus shit. We got fairy creatures. We got pissed off locals. Which one's gonna be the actual evil force here? Which one's gonna be the antagonist? And turns out it was creepy ass monsters the whole time. And the movie once again did prove how beautiful Ireland is. Not as much as Grabbers, weirdly enough, because it was mostly just the woods, and most of the time it was in the middle of the night, so you didn't really get to see a lot of it. But there were a few shots where it's like, oh my man, Ireland is gorgeous. So, but as a whole, I did not enjoy it.
I mean, I'm not
I didn't enjoy it at all for a lot of the same reasons that have already been mentioned. Like, yeah, the characters, honestly, I thought every single character in this was incredibly dumb. And there was a lot of like with the acting, especially with the Adam guy, like he spends so much of that movie in like a stoned, non-reactive state.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I don't buy you as a character. You're just wandering through this shit, like going, oh, well, that's irritating. He had no charisma or character, I thought. But I think and like that. Look, horror movies are gonna have dumb characters in them. That's to be expected. It gets a little irritating when the dumbest characters are the main characters, and it takes forever for them to die when they should have been killed very quickly. So that's like, that usually gets on my nerves in horror movies, where it's just like, you made the main characters the dumbest people in the movie and you're not killing them. to make way for smarter characters that can actually like do something. Like at that point, it's just like I'm rooting for the monster at this point. But even then, I felt like the idea of the monsters was cool. The implementation of the monsters was nonsensical.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no internal logic to the monsters in the movie that remained consistent. At equal points, the things felt like they were so overpowered that nothing could stop them. And yet they can't kill a dumbass family in the woods. But at the same time, the dumbass family finds many ways to foil the creatures, proving that they're not unstoppable. And yet, the locals, when one of their own is kidnapped and taken into the woods, didn't immediately form a mob to go in there with, iron swords and halogen lights and just burn these fuckers out. Because it seems perfectly logical that they could, because they have well-established weaknesses that can easily be exploited, and they can be killed. But at the same time, the monsters are capable of magical acts such as teleporting plant gunk into people's engines, car engines, while the car is driving to disable the vehicle. But then the monsters can't figure out how to get through a car door to get a baby.
Nope.
All right.
It was a lot of that. It was a lot of back and forth with that, where it's just like, okay, you've set these monsters up to be incredibly creepy and scary and credible threats, except for the fact that they can't accomplish their simple task because they're so easily exploitable. So it just ran in circles, and I'm just like, none of this makes sense. No, your monster doesn't make sense. Your monster is conflicting itself, and you're not giving me any reason as to why that is.
Right.
And even the monster's motivation was a little dodgy to me. Like they establish like the established like thing that they do is like they'll steal your baby, and then they kind of throw in there like, and then they replace it with a changeling. It's like, okay, yeah, and we saw them do that. But then, like, I think I actually, yeah, if you trespass in their woods and you got a baby, they're going to take the baby. But they're going to replace the baby with one of their babies that looks like your baby. But we're also going to try to kill you to turn you into more of us. And also, we actually want our baby back too. Like, even the motivation of the monster was all over the place. It was like, is it trying to kill them? Is it trying to infect them to make more of them? Is it trying to steal the baby and replace the baby for some damn reason? And then there was that little weird shit at the end where it's like, oh, well, they actually just want their baby back too, which is why they're pursuing us. Because they want their baby back that they gave to us to take our baby. Like, it was a lot of that. Which just, I just like, once that shit started happening, I was like, oh, fuck this. And the locals pissed me off too, because the locals did the thing, the traditional horror movie thing of warning the newcomers of the danger, but we're going to do it in a really hostile, creepy way, so we look like assholes. So clearly they don't believe us, and then they go and do the thing we're telling them not to do, and they get themselves fucked. And absolutely 100% fuck that cop too, who was like, it's just fairy tale bullshit. Clearly he knows that it's not fairy tale bullshit, because everyone in this town knows it's not fairy tale bullshit. It had the Jeepers Creepers effect. The thing that Jeepers Creepers did at the end that really pissed me off, where the creeper comes in and attacks the police station and kills like several cops before kidnapping someone. And then it cuts to the next day and it's just business as usual and nobody fucking gives a shit about anything that just happened. It was like that. It's like, you guys know this is a problem and you're just not doing anything about it. What the fuck? You guys are the assholes.
They have the zombie bites and they're not telling anybody.
Yeah, it's like that mentality. It's like, look, if you maybe weren't absolute dicks to the new people that came and just pulled them inside like, look, I know it's going to sound crazy, but we have evidence that these things exist. Here's why you shouldn't go in the woods and start fucking around. Because, again, after everything is said and done, that house is littered with evidence that these things exist.
Yeah.
It's a huge crime scene of hard evidence that these things do exist, and they are a threat.
And they're going to find out more, too, because at the end, of course, like all the other ones, it's just like, oh, they're taking out the logs. Oh, there's all the stuff on them. Da, da, da.
But that doesn't actually matter. That's, if you actually pay attention to the movie, that's not a threat at all, because sunlight makes these motherfuckers burn and explode.
Oh, yeah. So
after driving for 12 hours in the hot-ass sun, any fucking mold shit that's on those logs is going to be burnt the fuck away. So it actually
Good
doesn't
point.
matter at all. Unless it doesn't, because, the internal logic of the consistency of the creatures was all over the place. So maybe it was a threat. Who knows?
Find out next week.
Right? Find out in the Hallow 2. Now, that being said, I will say, the monsters themselves, I thought they were really cool looking. I really liked the design. They were very creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I liked towards the end when the baby Hallow creature
Yeah.
is getting hit by the sunlight. Fastest sunrise ever, by the way. It went from pitch black to it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and the sun is already well above the horizon in like 30 seconds. But as the baby Hallow is getting immersed in the sunlight, and its face rips open and it explodes, that was awesome. What did I say? That sun came up faster than me in high school when I spotted some tasteful side boob at the grocery store. But yeah, so overall, yeah, I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan at all.
What?
Oh, and I also said double fuck you for the tacked on jump scare at the end.
For the tacked on what?
Jump scare at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking hated that. Yeah.
That was, and again,
I
made
warned
no.
you guys, right?
You did warn us,
Okay.
but at the same
Well,
time,
you just had to keep watching.
no, she did mention earlier on, like when she first watched
I
it, she
mentioned.
said, "Oh, by the way, there is a jump scare. Just be warned."
Oh, I
Um,
completely forgot.
But yeah, no, it's not the fact that the jump scare is there pissed me off. The reason why it's a double fuck you is that the jump scare was a cutaway to a shot of the transformed, kidnapped little girl who we already saw die. She
Mhm.
got
Oh, yeah.
fucking decapitated by Adam. So it's like, you just put that there to be assholes. It has no bearing on the plot or the story whatsoever. You just put that in there to be a dick. That's why it's a double fuck you.
Yeah.
Also, if I want to watch a man get infected with alien DNA and slowly become one and then use those abilities to, affect some change in his life and fight back, I'd rather watch District 9.
Yeah. Oh man, now I want to watch this. Thank you.
You're gonna get a headache just listening to this explanation. Dude, try watching the movie. But yeah, was not a fan of the Hallow.
Oh, fair enough. You're
Although-
allowed to not be a fan.
Although I'm glad that you at least came around to like seeing some of the faults, because I was like, I'm gonna go off on this movie, and I kind of feel bad because I think Neff really liked it.
I mean,
Same, I felt bad. I was like,
I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
still,
not gonna
I'm
get
still gonna,
butthurt
I'm still
over
gonna
that.
do it, but I kind of feel bad.
Okay, don't feel bad. It's
I mean,
alright.
I don't judge anybody for liking it. I think, and I was talking to Fish about it a couple of days ago. I think the reason why, like, I
you're
picked.
cutting out really bad.
Hold on, where do I go? How do I do this? Do I have to leave call and then somehow rejoin?
Yeah, you can press join call again.
Okay. All right, we're back.
Yay.
But yeah, I think one of the reasons why, like, so much of it, like affected me negatively as much as it did is the fact that, like, unlike a lot of you guys, I've seen so many more of these movies. So I've seen stuff like this before. I've seen movies that have done stuff like this before, but much better. So I guess I'm more extra critical on the ones that are, lacking, in my opinion.
I mean, fair enough.
I think you also watch movies differently. Like your critique is strong because you're a movie person.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
But
movies.
I'm just like,
so.
hey, it's entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like my brain doesn't immediately go deep into the critique on it. I have to mull over it for a while.
Yeah, and see, I enjoy watching movies even if they're bad, but part of the reason why I enjoy watching the ones that are bad is because I really like ranting about them. That's where it gets fun for me, because I'm like, oh, fuck this movie, and I'm going to tell you 1,000 reasons why. But yeah, I think that brings us to the end of the bigger run-throughs on everything. We can get to the categories and everything. All right, has anybody else got anything to go over?
No,
I'm ready for categories.
Yeah,
Sweet.
let's go.
All right, so we got best kill, and I can guarantee it. Like, not only did we all pick the same movie, I can almost guarantee you we probably all picked the same kill. Pancake face nerd in Leprechaun 4. Was it Pancake Face Man?
There were two for mine. Like Leprechaun 4 is Pancake Face Man, but I also like the one guy's death. Shit. Was it Sergeant Hooker?
I don't know.
I can't remember, but it was him. I also like the Leprechaun's death too. That was fucking epic.
Yeah, for me those, and then also just the dick escape, like.
Yeah.
The dick escape is what got me as well.
Okay, you know what? I didn't even consider Dick Escape, but that is also a great death.
How do you not consider Dick Escape?
I had a moment of weakness. I forgot about Dick Escape somehow. I got hit with Pancake Face Man, and I'm like, that's amazing.
True.
But yep, all four of us down the board. Leprechaun 4 in space. So me, it was Pancake Face. Fish, it was Pancake Face and Leprechauns.
Who else, so we're going with Leprechaun, yeah.
Yeah, and then Kettle and Neff was Leprechaun Dick.
Yep.
Best characters. Again, we all went with the same movie. Unsurprisingly.
There you go.
Grabbers.
Definitely Grabbers.
Yeah.
Patty
is not
again was the love of my life, and I just want him as my grandpa.
Grabbers had amazing characters, so that's honestly not a big surprise.
Again, Mr. Goyle he's a great actor.
He really is.
He always seems to play the same kind of character, but he's always great at it.
Variances though, like this guy, like he had maybe elements of Jeff, but like Jeff was like spastic as hell.
Jeff was spastic, but again, that's why I compared him to Chandler.
Right.
Well, besides the other obvious reasons, but like when he started to open up again about like his wife and everything, and then started to get flirty, that's where I saw Jeff in him. I'm like, that's adorable.
The thing I love about that guy is that he basically, in my mind, he is like the Irish Brad Dourif. Because
yes.
He looks a lot like Brad Dourif, and he also, like, there's some similarities in their acting.
Yes.
See, worst movie. We have variants.
All right.
So my pick for worst movie should be no surprise at this point. It was The Hallow.
Why?
Because The Hallow irritated the shit out of me.
No.
What about you, Neff?
It was Maniac Cop.
Manic Cop.
Maniac Cop. Sure.
Same here. Maniac Cop.
Also Maniac Cop.
And that's how you know I'm staying honest. I picked my own movie as being the worst.
Yeah. I was like, bold choice.
Yeah, look. I know them when they're shitty.
I went in a very literal sense because Leprechaun 4 was not like
Yeah.
Out of the way the movies were made, it was the worst, but that's what made it so good, and that's what made it my favorite.
That's valid. I almost went in the same direction. Then I watched The Hallow, and I'm like, nope. I actually have to. I actually have to change that around. Comfiest movie. My pick for that one, and it's close. Like this is a close one, but Leprechaun 4 in Space was my comfiest. Followed right behind that with Grabbers. Either one of them, like I could have almost tied them, but this was before Fish sent me her thing.
I went with Grabbers. That one was just, it was fun, comfy, and yeah, like crushing real hard on Lady Cop. She reminds me of like an Irish Amy Santiago from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, just being all like kind of peppy and like accomplished and like I'm doing all the things, and I'm like, I love that.
She was like a cross. I didn't think of Santiago until you said that, and it's like, yep, that's exactly who she reminded me of. Like her, and also Amy Pond from Doctor Who.
Yes.
Neff.
For comfiest movie was Grabbers. Grabbers.
And then Fish.
For comfiest?
Yeah.
Grabbers for sure. Like it was just so homey. It made me feel like part of the family.
Next we have scariest movie. My pick for scariest movie was Leprechaun 4 in Space. Because it's scary how good it is. Literally, that's the reason. That's the reason behind that. It's scary how good it is.
I picked the Hallow just mainly because of the monsters, and I imagined myself in the situation, not so much like the dumb decisions of the other characters, but like Grabbers. Once you figure out the drunkenness, I'm set.
Oh yeah, for sure. I could survive Grabbers.
Leprechaun, I just wouldn't be there in the first place. And Maniac Cop, like, yeah, that one like a little bit scary, but like because it was so tropey, it didn't really do much for me. And despite the Hallows, like, yeah, kind of confusingness, it's like those things are still spooky. So
yeah, like this. If I was going serious for my pick, it would have also been the Hallow, but like I was still mad at the Hallow, so I was like, no. Yeah. Leprechaun 4 gets it with a joke reason that's actually serious.
Yeah.
Hallow was mine too, because the monster seems so incredibly and inexplicably powerful, and I'm like, how do you beat that besides with light? You can't ever go to sleep again. Screw it. You gotta live in the daytime, man.
Just don't go spray painting any trees. There you go.
I definitely still think that because they're photophobic, we could just shine light everywhere all the time. But
or just get a slingshot with some little like lead BBs and like that was my thing. Like, oh, like lead can kill them, huh?
There you go.
What's that thing that bullets are made of again? Oh right, lead.
Are they? No, it's iron.
Is it iron?
Iron, yeah.
Whatever, make some iron.
You can make some lead bullets. I thought it was lead because they're like, they filled them full of lead. Yeah, I mean, if you can make silver bullets for werewolves, you can make lead bullets for these fucking things. Well, I'm just saying the wild Irish hillbilly mob could have taken these things out if they had just put their minds to it.
Oh, okay.
If the people in the town, in the Hallows town, were actually the people from the Grabbers town, they would have solved this problem and gotten wasted while doing it.
So the reason why iron can't be a bullet is because iron is too brittle and too hard to make a good projectile. Okay. Bullets end up with a lead or steel core surrounded by a softer outer jacket to prevent fouling or erosion by the harder steel. By erosion, fair enough. Of rifling can be worn down by time by firing a lot of rounds through the barrel. So
what about shotgun pellets?
Silver bullets. Do they?
No, shotgun, like shotgun buckshot,
like birdshot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shotgun pellet.
Either way, just fall back on the slingshot idea then. You're good.
We don't need Google. We have never.
So the shot is typically contained
Or doable Smiths. Oh, there you go.
Shots have traditionally been made of lead, but steel, tungsten, and bismuth are frequently used due to restrictions on lead.
You're telling me that hunter trapper guy didn't have a shotgun with some lead pellets in it?
You mean some iron pellets?
Iron is it iron that they needed?
Yeah, you keep saying lead and it's iron.
Is it iron? Okay, I've got that mixed up then.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, no. So iron iron is not a good bullet. There's a reason they don't use it in cannons anymore. Also, it's also not cost effective.
I'm just saying we could have got this job done.
I'm just saying
the townsfolk from Grabbers would have gotten this shit done. That's all I'm saying.
You know what you do is you take all that metal you decided to discard and you coat you make yourself a chain like a fucking iron medieval suit.
Yeah, a suit of armor.
Out there
and you just punch them.
Fire and a light, bright ass fucking light.
You get yourself a pump action squirt gun full of petrol.
Yeah.
Make sure it's not raining.
Yeah.
You just have to become Wolverine, whatever.
Yeah, like it's a fucking big deal. Like it's hard.
Like it's hard, yeah. I mean, never mind.
Anyway, most disturbing movie. I went with Maniac Cop because, again, the premise to me is just terrifying. The premise of, like, going up to a cop in the middle of the night and them being a fucking psychotic killer is absolutely terrifying to me.
Yeah, I went with the Hallow because, again, eye pokies.
I'm also on the Hallow train.
Yep, eye pokies get me every time, man. I can't look at the screen if I think it's about to happen.
Well, if I ever put a Lucio Fulci movie in the mix, I know all you sons of bitches are gonna list it as most disturbing because that guy loves doing bad stuff to people's eyes.
I also
I know.
Anytime like a dog screeches in a movie.
Yeah.
I'm so disturbed by
that
sound.
Yeah.
Like I just hate it. And that's why the whole first half of that movie I was fucking tense. I'm like, dog's gonna get it and I'm gonna get pissed off.
Sleeper hit. I went with Grabbers because I remember the first time I saw it, I think it was like on Netflix, and I just like randomly put it on, not knowing what the hell it really was.
Yeah, I also went with Grabbers.
And absolutely loving it. Like, it was way better than I ever thought it could be.
Yeah. I said Leprechaun in that case because same reasons, only different because I was like, well, this people are literally sleeping on this movie. If they think this is a bad one in the franchise, like they're just wrong. Like I'm not going to accept their opinion.
Incorrect.
Wrong. You're wrong.
And then nephew went with Grabbers. Or wait, what? Sleeper hit? Grabbers.
Yeah, Grabbers. I'm sorry. I was looking at my list and I was like, the Hallow. Gosh. No, the Hallow is not the sleeper hit.
The Hallow gets every award. I ranked it 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was the Grabbers for me.
Most forgettable movie. I went with The Hallow. Because honestly, I will forget most of that movie very quickly, I'm sure.
I said Maniac Cop.
Maniac Cop.
Same. And then I think I fucked up for best writing. I don't think I meant to put Maniac Cop in there.
Oh, yeah, I was surprised.
Are you telling me lines like "make it bigger than AIDS" didn't give you this like Oscar writing?
No, I think I meant to put Leprechaun in there because like the puns.
Oh man. I'm gonna have to retally points. That's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Like it's literally I have to go down to Leprechaun. I have to take.
You're gonna also need to change my best writing for me as well.
Hold on. Don't hit me with it all at once. It's easy for me to do, but like also like let me handle this one at a time. No, not 447. Trust me, spreadsheet. I would love to just slap 400 points on Leprechaun 4 for no reason, but The points are arbitrary, but we gotta maintain some semblance of
Some semblance
scale.
of order.
Yeah.
It's like Einstein.
Yeah. Best writing, I went with Grabbers.
That was my pick too.
Yeah, because the dialogue was amazing. Again, it was a concise story.
I like the
it
use
all
of
fit
feck.
together. Yeah, feck. Yep. But yeah. Neff.
Yeah, it needs to be changed to Grabbers.
Oh.
I didn't realize that I put that for best writing because I did that immediately after watching The Hallow. So I think I'm still in like the lore is so good.
I was gonna ask about that. I was like, I see you put the Hallow for best writing. Please say more about that.
No, I don't. I lied.
I was genuinely curious. I was like, what about the writing of the Hallow put it above the other ones? I was actually really curious to know.
Yeah, I was on a lore hype. I was like, oh, the lore is so pretty. I like the lore. Yeah, it wasn't that great. I lied.
And then best score, we all answered the same on this one, the Hallow, which arguably, like, the Hallow did have great gore and great gore effects and great special effects. Like, I got a lot of bad stuff to say about that movie. The effects really weren't part of it. The creatures looked really cool and creepy. The gore looked really icky. Let me just make sure I got it. Okay, I just gonna have to update the grand totals. That's fine. See, then we come to ranked movies. My ranked movies, number 1, no surprise, Leprechaun 4 in space. If you say it really quick, it sounds like Leprechaun 4 in space. I don't know what that has to do with anything. It's just something my brain picked up on. But that
Leprechaun run UN sent into space.
there you go.
Makes it 4 in space.
Yeah. He ain't supposed to be there. He is the alien.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me was Grabbers. And again, that was a tough one between Leprechaun 4 and Grabbers, but Leprechaun 4 is my type of movie. Number 3 for me, Maniac Cop, and number 4, The Hallow, unsurprisingly. Neff.
What did I have mine at? Because I messaged you. What did... Give me
You really got to start using... Can you not use the Excel spreadsheet?
No.
You can't edit those?
No. I
Why
can't
not?
open them. I don't have Excel.
I'll get it on your machine.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Sorry, yeah. So movie ranking, it was Grabbers was number 1. Can we switch my 2 and 3? Can we switch my 2 and 3? I'm sorry, I realize this now, like tonight more than anything. Like it was just like more like lust fest there. There was no actual love.
Yeah.
So
No, it's fine. I mean, honestly, I was honestly gonna ask if people wanted to change anything at the end anyway. See if they had any second thoughts, if anything somebody else had said would persuade them.
It wasn't so much, it was like a persuasion, but it was also like, I've been thinking about these movies all week, and I'm like, why did I like The Hallow so much? I just lusted after it. That's all I did. I lusted.
I get it. Like, and honestly, your whole, like, you created up, like, an expansion and, like stuff in your own head that was way cooler than what was in the movie. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, I totally get... Because there is something cool there. Conceptually, there is something cool there. So, like, I get that.
1 second.
So, Grabbers, Leprechaun 4 is now your number 2.
And then The Hallow is number 3. And Maniac Cop still is in last place for me. I did not like that movie.
Oh, Fish has got a dog.
I do. He's crying.
He's a crybaby. Fish, what were your ranked movies?
Same as yours, honestly. Like Leprechaun.
Oh wow, yeah, we
was
matched up
actually
completely.
My favorite. Grabbers almost won, but I was like, you know what? I actually like. I love stupid movies. I can't help it. Or stupid comedy. Let me put it that.
Yeah.
Stupid comedy. And Grabbers was second only because Leprechaun was there. Maniac Cop, and then of course The Hallow. because I wasn't. I like the dryness over the confusion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Maniac Cop, not an amazing movie, I don't think, but it's still, like, I have to give it some love just because Bruce Campbell's in it, Tom Atkins is in it, it's got that 80s horror vibe to it, like, it has a lot of elements in it that I really enjoy, even if the movie itself isn't as good as a lot of others.
Your little tub.
Kettle.
All right. I guess I apparently have like a hot take. I mean, my number
Let's
one
go.
Grabbers, that's no surprise.
Yeah.
I had the Hallow as number 2, basically fighting neck and neck with Leprechaun, kind of in their same way. But I think just like the spooky gore and all that stuff with the Hallow, because the thing that made me really rethink what you were saying is just like, yeah, he made some really dumb decisions. I'm like, yeah, but like I still kind of enjoyed it. And it's like, and then he was this dumb, and then he was this dumb. And I'm like, yeah, he was pretty stupid, but you know, still spooky enough. And then yeah, lastly, Maniac Cop, because I enjoyed the horror vibes of it, but it didn't do a whole awful lot for me. But yeah, babyface Bruce Campbell was nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when I go off on the rants, it is by no means meant to like dissuade other people from taking the enjoyment from it. Honestly, I love that other people.
It's just like, yeah, they're really stupid. I'm like, yeah, they can see that.
and vice versa. It's nice to hear from people that like something that I'm just like, that was garbage. What the hell? How did you like that? Like, I genuinely want to know.
Yeah.
All right, now we come to our categories, our arbitrary themed categories, which we have up first, luckiest to unluckiest. What the fuck that means, it was up to the individual person to figure out. So for me, number 1, luckiest movie, Leprechaun 4 in Space. It had a fucking leprechaun in it, you know? How much more luck can you have? It was bad luck. Pretty much everyone involved, but it still had the most luck in it, I feel. Number 2, Grabbers, because those sons of bitches got damn lucky that the space aliens that came were uniquely suited to be hard countered by what their little town could provide. 3, Maniac Cop. I'm trying to remember what the logic here was. I honestly can't remember. I know that the Hallow is in number 4. Because nobody was lucky in that movie. There was no luck to be had. The couple was unlucky enough to move to those woods. The wife was unlucky to have a dumb fuck husband. The baby was unlucky to have dumb fuck parents. The monsters were unlucky because for all their powers, they still couldn't steal one measly little baby. Like, nobody had any luck going into that movie.
Nope.
All right, Neff.
Let's see, luckiest was Grabbers, because even though they were drunk as fuck, they were still fairly fucking lucky. They're Irish. I mean, what do you want from me? And then let's see, number 2 was The Hallow, and I think the reason why that one was second luckiest is because thank fuck the dude died. It was luck for the audience. I was like, do I want to change that? And I'm like, no, you know what? The main dude died. I'm okay with this. I'm all right with this. But yeah. And then 3 was Leprechaun in Space. Because it really, like, for having a leprechaun in it, they really weren't that lucky. And then Maniac Cop was 4th, just simply because, like, I didn't like it. I didn't have a good reason. Like, it gets unluckiest because it literally had very little to do.
It's an arbitrary category, and we all get to make up our qualifying reasons, so that is acceptable.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Fish.
I put down the luckiest to Grabbers because they've got the luck of the Irish. Like, everything else was so Irish. Why not that? And they stumbled on it so stupidly. Leprechaun 4 was underneath that because it wasn't very a lot of people in that movie. um, he lost his gold. He just the princess was not going to be rich. She was just a bitch. It was unlucky that he got huge on them, but then it turned out to be very lucky. And then that poor the Dr. Mittenglove, he was so unlucky. Like, his whole life was unlucky. To find out that they did it better at some point with a different body, and it was funny. Maniac Cop, only because it was unlucky for all the people who came up against him. Especially the cop hanging in the precinct.
Oh yeah.
And then held the Hallow. Like you said, nobody was lucky in that movie. Not even the damn dog.
Yeah, the dog wasn't even lucky in that one. Because he wound up with some dumb fuck owners. Cattle.
All right, so yeah, luckiest I had Grabbers. I like the way Fish put it. Lucky the Irish, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Second, Maniac Cop, mainly for Bruce Campbell. Be like, look, I didn't do it. It's the creepy man. 3, the Hallow, because I don't really know why. And then, like you said, Leprechaun had a lot of bad luck, which to me is unlucky, which is why
that's fair.
It is the unluckiest to me. The Hallow's just kind of in there as like, well, it's the only slot for it.
Yeah, it's got to fit in there somewhere. You gotta rank them somehow. Drunkest to soberest was the second arbitrary category for the theme of the month. I took this literally. I struggled with this one, and I just decided to take it literally. So number 1 was Grabbers, because my God, a lot of people get very drunk in that movie. Number 2 was actually the Hallow, because I remember there was a significant scene of wine drinking and inebriation that went on. But it was almost neck and neck with Leprechaun 4 in Space, because that also had a memorable scene where a bunch of characters get pretty inebriated as well. And then Maniac Cop at the bottom, because I couldn't remember anybody getting drunk in that movie. And it's a very sober type movie. It's very dry, so.
Yeah.
Neff.
Let's see. So for drunkest, Grabbers was 1, obvious. Leprechaun was 2. I know nobody drank in it, but whoever.
No, there was a drinking party in.
There
like
was.
when they hang out and right before premature leprechaun ejaculation.
Right, I was just so distracted by the Leprechaun.
It does overshadow. Yeah.
Yeah. So Leprechaun was 2 because even if I forget that part, I feel like whoever made that was clearly on some form of alcohol or drug. But a beautiful
whatever it was good shit.
Right?
I want some of the Leprechaun 4 shit, please.
3 was the Hallow, because it almost made me want to drink, apparently. In retrospect. And then 4 was Maniac Cop again, because like I just didn't like it.
That's valid.
I don't like, there was not, I don't remember very much drinking in it, but like it just didn't feel very like other than the St. Patty's Day parade.
There was like that one instance of the St. Patrick's Day parade, right towards the end. But that was it. And even then the parade barely plays a factor in the movie.
Right. I'm just like, I mean, fair enough. Like, that's okay. I just didn't like it. Not to be shitting all over your movie, Kettle. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I picked the movie by searching for St. Patrick's Day horror movies, and I was like, that sounds kind of interesting. The only thing Irish about it is it happened to take place in March. Like,
yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
Fish.
I broke the mold. I made a tie.
and therefore established that, like, yeah, we can totally tie stuff if we feel it is necessary.
Brave dog. The tie was basically both Leprechaun and Grabbers. 1, because you're right, whoever made this movie was drunk. This movie actually was drunk. I felt like I had a lot of whiskey when I watched it. And Grabbers, because the obvious reason, like they had to get drunk to kill the monsters, and so everybody was a freaking alcoholic for a night. I'm pissed. That one old lady just cracked me up. I put Maniac Cop down as second because I called it buzzed because the storyline was kind of drunk a little bit. It felt like a nice buzz.
That's fair.
Sorry, my dog is trying to breathe.
Oh no. Breathe, Simon.
He's doing that reverse sneeze thing.
Stop this.
And then the Hallow was the soberest to me because like I felt stone cold sober watching it. Like I couldn't.
Yeah.
And then Kettle.
Yeah, so the way I interpret it is a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Column A being like how much drinking there is, and column B is like how much fun it would be to get drunk and also watch, even though I wasn't drunk for any of these. Number one, Grabbers, obvious. Followed by Leprechaun, and then Maniac Cop and the Hallow. Not a whole lot of reasoning other than just like Grabbers. I mean, alcohol's the theme. Leprechaun.
Oh, absolutely.
You can get trashed and enjoy that no matter what. And the other two, yeah, it's like, well, they got to go somewhere. I don't have.
They gotta go somewhere. Yeah, the categories this month were honestly a little tricky.
Yeah, that's all right.
Like theme appropriate for sure, but like once I got down to like trying to like do the rankings, I was like, this is fucking hard, man. Like, how do you quantify either of these things? Like, Grabbers for drunkest is easy, but past that, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Who thought these categories up? Son of a bitch. All right, so that's all of the rankings and the categories and everything like that. I have to do quick on the fly math because some stuff got changed, so the grand totals are no longer accurate. But that is fine. It's not going to be nearly as much math as it was that first month. That's for sure. Oh. Thinking that might be another tie with another thing. Now, let's see. So, overall, you guys still enjoying it?
Yeah.
Having a good time?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's neat that we're finding like it's like all the things in the projects. It's like it starts out, you know, and you like, oh, let's try this little thing or let's try that little thing, and I like the direction we're headed so far.
The evolution, yeah. The evolution's been very cool. And especially now, because like with everyone having a movie in the mix and whatnot, we can actually award a prize for the winning movie, which makes this whole point system actually, you know, not just for my own love of doing meaningless statistics. Excuse me. All right, there we go. Grand totals have been updated. So, according to the nonsense point system that has been made up, I'm gonna do it in reverse order. Coming in at number 4, Maniac Cop with 88 points. Which let me look at something real quick. That ties it for the lowest pointed movie with Flesh for Frankenstein. Also had 88 points. So they're tied down there.
Hey,
at the
Maniac
bottom.
Cop's not that bad.
Third place, The Hallow with 106 points. Third place with 130.5 points because Leprechaun 4 had that half a sex scene. I just spoiled it. Leprechaun 4. And then number 1 with a bullet, Grabbers with 185 points, enough to dominate every other movie this month and also dominate every movie we've seen so far.
Wow.
Previously, The Bride was number 1 out of everything with 167 points. Grabbers blew it the fuck away with like
Nice.
almost another
That's a
20.
good one.
I was curious if anything was going to top The Bride. I honestly was. I was wondering if it could even happen and what it would be, and we have an answer. It's Grabbers.
I feel it's worthy.
Yeah. So, hold on. I gotta update the scores on the grand total thing too. God, I wish I could just like minimize. Hold on. We're going to be right back, strangers. I have to utilize both monitors to do this much quicker. Okay, so that stayed in the same place. That's nice. Oh, so did that. Cool. And then there we go. So move this back over here. Pull this back up. Okay, so overall, for all the 12 movies we've seen so far while doing this, Grabbers number 1, 185. The Bride number 2 with 167. Frankenstein's Army number 3 with 153. Also, the points changed because I reconfigured how the points were sorted out. Now each movie's kill count and sex count is just like a flat point. So if a movie had 5 kills and 2 sex scenes, it just gets 5 points and then 2 points instead of the ranking points, which slide in like first 10 points, second 7 points, third, fourth, and then third 4 points and 1 for fourth place. So I readjusted that. And then I also realized that the last 2 months I had been adding in the static points to everyone's personal scores, which just like added crazy amounts of duplicate points. So I fixed that as well. So the order shifted based on that. So yeah, third place Frankenstein's Army, 153 points. Fourth place Audition with 147. Fifth place Comforting Skin with 134. Sixth place Leprechaun 4 in Space, 130.5 points. Seventh place The Hallow with 106. Tied for 8th is Lady Frankenstein and Valentine with 105. Ninth place Dead Girl with 104. And then tied for 10th place is Maniac Cop and Flesh for Frankenstein with a low 88 points. So the only two to not break triple digits so far. And that also means that Grabbers was Fish's movie. Fish wins this month.
Yay.
Which means Fish gets to decide on the theme for next month.
Oh no. I thought the chat was doing that.
No.
I was confused.
Chat didn't win.
Oh, well,
chat wins because they're
confused
here,
at what
but
we had discussed. I'm so sorry. Now I really can't say anything what I said about. I want to go with the theme we were going with. I like the horror.
That's
comedy.
fine.
Yeah.
That's
let's do
fine. We
that.
can do that. All right.
Chat always wins.
the chat always wins. Well, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's a Spook Show Syndicate.
It's a spook.
It's a lot of fun.
Really
They keep getting better. They keep getting shorter too. We're really dialing it down.
I think we're just getting better at
We're
it.
getting better at
Yeah.
it is the thing. It's getting more honed, more smoothed out.
Yeah.
Who scored lowest for this month?
For this month, it was me.
Yep. Which means
My movie, rather.
I guess we could punish him.
Does that mean
somehow.
do I get a punishment?
Yeah. I don't know what the punishment would be, but
You know.
You have to watch
Yeah, I
these
have to-
movies without your splint.
I thought it was gonna be like, yeah, you gotta watch Flesh for Frankenstein again.
Oh my god.
There you
I'll be
go.
like, all right, well, I'm quitting the show. And
I tender my resignation from the Spook
yeah.
Show Syndicate. Like, God damn it! It backfired. It was supposed to be funny, and then he took it serious.
Yeah.
Oh well. I guess we'll
Yeah,
just
it's all
we'll have to replace him somehow.
That's.
But anyway, hey, thanks for being here and doing it.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you to Chad for hanging out and doing all the things and talking amongst yourselves. Very much appreciated. I was trying to be in there replying to you in chat via text, but so yeah, I suppose switch back over here. I'm not gonna be ending the stream. I'm not entirely certain what I'm gonna be doing next. There was the possibility of doing some DBD if people are interested.
I am going to go and make some food, but I might be on later depending on how late y'all are.
Okay. And then Neff was undecided?
I'm not sure if I'm feeling DBD right now. I might jump in like later.
Alright.
I'm not very DBD right now.
That is
I'm not as much of a
addict
fanatic. Yeah, as you guys are. Like I wish I was like I'm just like I could play it occasionally, but like it's not my favorite game by any means.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but yeah.
All right. Well, we await the next topic, and then we'll do picks. And I suppose.
Mm-hmm. I thought I had
on the Twitters and stuff.
Yeah, I thought I had a pick for a horror comedy, and then I thought of like 2 or 3 other horror comedies, and now I'm like, geez, which one?
I definitely
so it's
did.
tough.
I'm sticking with mine.
Which one's yours? Just give us a little spoiler
shadows.
taste. Oh,
okay,
that's right.
So we are going to do horror comedies for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That was my pick. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And what we do in the shadows.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Then yeah, I'll talk to you guys later, and I might pop back by later if you're still doing the DBD.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Good nights for now.
All
right.
All right.
All right.
I'm gonna end the call.
Word.
Okay.
Bye.